Wind Waker is a really good game. You can thank the art style, music, the unique setting, the dungeons, but it also has an assortment of really solid boss fights. So which one is the best? Well, if you're watching this, you're a Zelda fan, and if you're a Zelda fan, chances are you recognize the silhouette on the thumbnail of this video. It's the Helmaroc King. He's the best. Let me explain why. We all know the fight against Ganondorf, that epic final showdown as the ocean rains down while a grown man dukes it out against two children, and we also know Molgera, a sand snake thingy with an absolutely banging soundtrack. But I don't see a lot of people talking about the Helmaroc King. It's always the Ganondorf and Molgera fights, which deserved, those are great, but the Helmaroc King has something that really elevates it to that #1 spot for me. It's a part of the story. But wait, Ganondorf is... Yeah, I know he's the villain. Of course he's a part of the story. So let's just ignore him for this video because he's obviously the best, okay? Okay. You can argue that all of the other bosses are part of the story too, but they really only act as just that. Boss fights. Obstacles. Switch color schemes and Goma and Molgera could easily swap places without changing anything to the main story. The Helmaroc King, however, there wouldn't even be a game without this guy. He's the one who takes Link's sister, Aryll. He's the initial reason why Link left Outset Island and eventually made himself the hero. Sure, you could argue that that was all Ganon because he ordered the whole kidnapping thing, but still. Actually, no. Ganon just told this thing, go steal blonde girls. The Helmaroc King is the one who grabbed Tetra, lost Tetra, then saw Link's sister and went, yeah, that'll work. Let me put it this way. The Helmaroc King is what Zant is to Twilight Princess, and what Girahim is to Skyward Sword. Except with Girahim, you fight him a lot, and Zant is played up to be the big bad villain only for Ganondorf to swoop in and steal the show. Poor guy. Anyway, I'm not saying that the Helmaroc King is as good as a character as Zant and Girahim. He's a bird, he doesn't talk. But you get the idea. He's the rival, if you will, the guy you keep running into, the villain who keeps interrupting your quest. And this guy is an absolute menace. Like I said, he's the one who kidnaps Link's sister in the first place, and then when Link tries to rescue her, he snatches him up and then throws the poor kid like a frisbee. After that, Link somehow didn't break his spine, and now has to make himself stronger in order to face off against that bird again without getting killed. The Helmaroc King becomes the goal, the big obstacle, the hurdle he's got to jump over. 3 dungeons later, the moment arrives for the second confrontation. This part of the game does a really good job of showing growth, or making you, the player, feel like you're getting stronger. When before you had to sneak around in barrels and slowly make your way to the top, this time you storm right through the fortress, guns ablazing, until you make it to the tower. It feels really good. Once you actually get to the tower, we get this long story cutscene. Let's talk about it real quick, then we'll get to the actual boss fight. This all leads up to it, I promise. The door creaks open and Link cautiously steps in. I absolutely love the animation they have here of Link looking around, and his face right here is just so good. Then we've got the reunion with Aryll, then Tetra shows up with these big guys, la-di-da-di-da. Aryll is freed, we get the lovely stand and smile at each other reunion as Aryll's theme plays. Then Tetra says, isn't there something you need to take care of? And the last note of Aryll's theme shifts to a minor key. And what plays after just keeps building up that tension. Another quick little detail that I love is this shot after one of the pirates picks Aryll up. It's made to look like Aryll's POV over the dude's shoulder with how the camera rocks back and forth. This game just has so much life to it. They didn't need to do that, but they did. Anyway, there's a lot of build up to this boss, not just from this cutscene, not just from the dungeon itself, although both of those really do amp up the excitement, but arguably from the whole game. Again, ever since this sack of feathers kidnapped Aryll, we as the player have been waiting for that sweet, sweet revenge, and this is when we get it. The game knows it, Link knows it. It really adds to the boss fight. It's like a version of Chekhov's gun, except it's Chekhov's bird. Okay. As for the fight itself, well, I mean, it's not super great. Still good, but not anything mind-blowing. The first phase is basically just a chase sequence where you run up the ramp all the way up the tower to escape the rising water while the Helmaroc King tries to knock you off. It's short, sweet, and adds to the tension of the fight. You can't damage the Helmaroc King here. You can't do anything but run as he destroys the ramp, and it can be a pretty close margin at times. It's a bit stressful. You're reminded of how helpless you were in the beginning of the game, how untouchable this massive, monstrous bird was. Then you get to the top of the ramp. The Helmaroc King blocks the way, and in true Zelda fashion, you gotta use the item that was given to you in the dungeon. Except with this one specifically, the Skull Hammer, you took this item by force, by defeating Phantom Ganon. That makes this next bit all the more satisfying. With a big swing and smash of the hammer, suddenly the Helmaroc King isn't untouchable. The real fight begins. And it's alright. The attacks that the Helmaroc King uses are RNG, meaning they randomly occur, which can draw it out a little too long as the only time you can attack is when he lands and smashes his face into the ground. It's possible that he'll land only to just waddle a few steps then fly back up into the air, which can be a bit frustrating since now you've got to wait for him to cycle through his airborne attacks before landing again. But everything else about the fight, the music is such a bop and perfectly dramatic. The location is so cinematic with those spotlights swinging around and how it'll always be night no matter when you reach this part of the game. And I love how whenever the Helmaroc King flies or moves, feathers are left drifting in the air. It's a subtle detail, but it adds so much. Also, this can happen, and that's just beautiful. Real quick, can we talk about the Helmaroc King's design for a second? It's so cool! The subtle glow of his eyes, mouth, and tail feathers, the vibrant colors. When his helmet falls off, he's a little less cool, but still, awesome design. Then the ending. After enough hits to the head, this cutscene plays. It would get me so hyped as a kid. It still does. The spotlights pointing at him as he fruitlessly attempts to fly away, and this zoomed out shot of the whole fortress. So cool. And when Big Bird is finally gone, you've got those feathers floating down as the finishing touch. And after, silence. The Helmaroc King was only a minion after all. It's time to face the one behind it all, Ganondorf. And it goes... great. On a real note, I love how this cutscene plays out. It's similar to when Link first gets to the Forsaken Fortress and is defeated by the Helmaroc King. There isn't even a fight. The bird just throws you away. In much the same way, Ganondorf knocks Link to the ground without even drawing his weapon. It immediately elevates Ganondorf to a whole nother level of danger. It puts him on a pedestal above the Helmaroc King, and we, as the player, know that we still have some growing to do if we want to face off against the King of Evil. So there we have it. The Helmaroc King is the best boss in Wind Waker, not necessarily because of the fight mechanics, but because of everything else. His significance to the story, the build-up to the fight itself, and what he does to elevate the big bad. Though I will say, to absolutely no one's surprise, that Molgera has the best boss music. The Helmaroc King's music is great, but Molgera's is better. Sorry to the three of you who disagree. Hey, thanks for watching! This was really just an excuse to gush about this boss fight and this game. It was the first Zelda game I ever played, and it holds a very special place in my heart. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like. I'm just starting out, which you can probably tell, but I've got a lot more videos planned for the future. I've actually got an essay planned for Wind Waker's Ganondorf, actually, so look forward to that. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. Stay safe, have fun, bye-bye. How are you supposed to end these things?